the other thing I did this weekend, like any good American and I guess Minnesotan too. Last couple nights I binged quarterbacks on Netflix. Isha, you can't count past 3, so I know you have no interest in that. But
I've watched a good chunk of it, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Good on you. So let's hear your thoughts then. What do you think of it?
I think they picked a good like 3. I think they picked 3 really good quarterbacks with 3 different personalities, and it's been pretty good. Honestly, I've come out liking Kirk Cousins a little bit more. Now I haven't watched it in any particular order. I've watched like chunks of it while my roommate's been watching it. Patrick Mahomes seems like, he's just such a team guy, which I kind of knew already, following the NFL a little bit, but just like seeing how like he'll come off in pain, screaming about his ankle, and then just like go right to like the rest of the boys and be, come on guys, let's go hard and hard work. Let's go. And I'm just like, fucking right. It's like, this guy's at such a young age is such a true captain and leader and warrior. So my respect for him has gone up. So and Kirk Cousins, though he is a dweeb, and this even makes him look more like a dweeb, he's our dweeb. He's Minnesota's dweeb, and he's way more entertaining than I thought he would be going into that.
Yeah, I think all of them showed the levels to which they are warriors, like whether that's physically or mentally resilient for a lot of different reasons. It took 3 quarterbacks from not just completely different personalities, but just different places in the league. Like, you've got Mahomes, who I don't think many would deny is the best quarterback in the world right now. And they just picked the perfect season with it ending with him winning the Super Bowl. They picked Kirk Cousins, who is, calm down, people. He is very much a like middle-ish tier quarterback. Like, I think anyone that puts him anywhere from 8 to 14 or 15, there's probably a reasonable argument to be made throughout that range. But it feels like everyone in the world either thinks he is the most overrated or underrated quarterback, and that makes him such a polarizing figure on top of the antics that we saw throughout the season. Obviously, the huge highs and huge lows of the Vikings. And I do think that he really showed, like, everyone thinks he's a bitch, whatever. Like, he was battling through some shit this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think anyone, like, across these guys, and then, of course, Marcus Mariota, guy who was drafted really high, Heisman winner, electric player coming out of Oregon. Like, he's kind of the guy that, like, firmly stamped Oregon on the map. And I just think that, like, he kind of coming back, most guys, once they go to being a backup, don't get a starting role unless someone gets hurt, right? But he got brought in. He was the starter. Really good start to the year for Atlanta. And then you see the trials and tribulations he goes throughout. But I love the behind the scenes kind of stuff like this.
Me
seeing
too.
the personality, just understanding better too what the guys go through.
Any sport I can watch this style documentary for, and that's what I love about them.
Not any sport. Let's be clear.
Most.
There's some that I can't, but yes, agreed. Most sports, absolutely. And anyone that hasn't watched this one, absolutely go do it. But for me, immediately where my head went is, how do we do this for hockey? And I think the most fascinating way to go about it would be a show called Goalies.
Oh, yes.
And because they're just such fascinating humans, and they are very much like the quarterback. Like, they're such a central, singular position. You lose your goalie, you're fucked. You lose your quarterback, you're fucked. And I kind of want to like encapsulate the spread just like they did here for quarterbacks. So I don't want to just take the top 3 goalies or the most entertaining, whatever. I kind of want the spread. I've got some thoughts. Isha, I'll kick it to you first, though. Do you have any names that jump to the top of your head of current goaltenders that you want to be featured?
I do. Just a couple quick things, like keyword current, or else everyone would have Brizgalov on there. Right, but yes, HBO kind of already did. HBO kind of already, because that road to the Winter Classic.
Dude, do you think
pretty much the Brizgalov
would be the highest coveted? Because I think it'd be Dominik Hasek.
I think
that guy is such a serial killer of a human, but he is an absolute stone cold killer on the ice as well.
Kiprusoff would have to be in that mix too, because that guy was smoking in between periods in the 2000s.
I think Kipper would be great if we're going all time.
Well,
And then I think we're going for the like psychotic lunatic. It's either Patrick or Waugh. It's one of those two. You can't do both. Like it's almost like second season, you do the other one, right?
Yeah. So like there's so many classic names out there, but what I wanted to point out was when HBO did their Road to the Winter Classic, the first 2 seasons, like Brizgalov stole the show in season 2. Like season 1 was awesome because it was Ovi versus Crosby and it was raw, and like Pittsburgh had the best cast. Let's be honest. Like they had their best team, in the last decade or so.
He had a great cast, but I still think Boudreaux was the highlight of that whole show.
See, I totally forgot, but yes, Boudreaux,
like, that was his coming out where no one had a clue. Like everyone knew that he was a good coach, but like he had no personality at that point. After that documentary, he had a cult following. People were obsessed with him from there.
Haagen-Dazs, like in NHL lore, Boudreaux is on like tier 3 because of his love for Haagen-Dazs and him just being unhinged on HBO, looking like Santa Claus there in the locker room. But anyways, so again, just if anybody hockey fans, newer hockey fans, anyways, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but this is like over 10 years old. These documentary series now. Road to the Winter Classic season 1 and 2 were amazing. The first season again, Capitals versus Penguins. Second season was Rangers Flyers. I don't even remember the third season was, and it sucked. So you had there's no reason to watch that one. It was Maple Leafs, and who gives a fuck? But anyways,
I no bias on that one. But continue.
Yeah. Back to the current list. Like, it's hard for me to put like a top 3 because the third name, it's like, it could be this guy, but you gotta go with
3 guys that are completely different. You just give me the reasons that they're different.
Well, I need Jordan Binnington 100%. I need to see. I 100%. I need to see I need to see everything. I also need to see Jacob Markstrom. Now, a little bit of bias, but he is a head case in himself. Him being a Swede, so it's different than an American or a Canadian goaltender, and a Swede who's been in North America for a long time. I'm very interested to see that guy behind the scenes because of just his unique ways of preparing for games. I know most goalies have that, but also he's a fascinating athlete too. And I'm just very curious to see, what goes on behind the scenes. But again, I do say a little bit of bias because he was a Vancouver Canuck. My third one is tough. It's and I'll give you the reasons. Definitely Sergei Bobrovsky. And
interesting. That's actually a great pick that I somehow didn't even think of.
And and the third one's so hard because there's so many.
Wasn't that your third one?
Oh, sorry. I guess that was my third one. But there's other names.
Bobrovsky, right?
Yeah. There's other names that could.
There's a lot of other ones. I'm going to give you my 3, and then we can discuss all of them.
Okay.
I think you have to, and this doesn't come from bias. I just think being a polarizing personality, being where they stand, historically in the game, and being on their way out, I think Marc-Andre Fleury is an obvious pick.
Yeah.
You take the aging veteran, but it's the guy who's been through it all. You get to see him kind of working as that veteran and how he conducts himself here.
That's a good pick.
Kind of wraps up the career. And again, he's just such an entertaining dude. You're going to get pranks throughout. I think you got to go with a guy that's on top, who's kind of he's not crazy, but the optics would be that he's crazy in Andrei Vasilevsky.
Yeah, I knew you were going to pick that one.
How good he is, but also just him being a totally different breed of human, and everything that's going on right now with Tampa. And then I'm with you. I think Binnington as well, especially because somewhere down the road we might get that Binnington Fleury fight, which I don't know if you saw the videos that came out this summer, but Binnington basically said it was basically prearranged, me and Fleury wanted to fight. I knew from his people that he very much wanted to fight. I've idolized Marc-Andre Fleury, and I'm I'll fight anyone, but I'll definitely fight him to make that work. We tried, didn't work. They broke it up, but that's not to say that it might not ever happen. So
I love that.
But he's so unhinged. He's such a psycho, and I think that could be really, really interesting to watch. So those would be my 3 that I would lead with, but there's so many arguments that can be made. I mean, Minnesotans will obviously say they want to see Mr. One of Us down in Dallas. I'm shocked that you didn't say Saros just because of your stroke sessions for him.
Well, that's the thing. It's I just don't think he's that interesting. Maybe I'm wrong, but he just seems like he's just a hardworking.
You need the guy that's not interesting too to see a little different angle.
He'd be kind of the Kirk Cousin of the group.
Yeah, the vanilla, wearing socks with flip flops, whatever.
But I think Markstrom would.
Bobrovsky was a great call by you, though. I think would be awesome.
I think Markstrom would tick that box that Saros has there, but also bring like a little bit of fire because I feel like his wires cross on the ice, and I think his wires cross off the ice a little bit sometimes as well.
The insanity of everything that's happening in Calgary right now would certainly make an interesting angle. Exactly. I think that a guy that should be this comes with a little bias, but just given the situation, I think Tristan Jarry would be fascinating because he's a guy who has all the potential. He's been in and out of injuries, just like seeing him like week to week and understanding what the fuck's going through his head, the pressure that's sitting on his shoulders to try and get Crosby and Malkin and Letang to another cup. Like there'd be a lot of interesting angles there. Plus, dude, everything, all of the intrigue there. What if they do land Carlson? What kind of random shit is Dubas going to pull throughout the year could be interesting. So I like that. But the other one that I think would be fairly interesting, take a rookie in Levi in Buffalo, up and coming team, but also like getting the rookie angle. Right?
Oh, that would be really cool.
And then I know one more that you're probably going to say, so I'll let you say it.
I don't think you are. I think kind of in the same light that you picked Tristan Jarry, I think Darcy Kemper would be an interesting story to follow as well. And I know, again, I don't know him personally, but one of my best friends from college, that's who he played hockey with growing up at every level until major junior, where he went to junior, I think B and junior A in Saskatchewan, and Darcy, kept rising the ranks and they split off from there, I think when they were like 16. But he's a Sasky boy, and my buddies told me some stories from him. I'm like, oh man, if the curtain just pulled a little bit on Darcy Kemper, I'm sure that following him with his like him fighting injuries and just that side of him, his recent success and just that he's a good old Canadian farm boy, and I think there's a lot there's a lot of fun stuff that Darcy Kemper would. At least I think it would be entertaining following Darcy Kemper.
Oh, he's a good one. Did you have any others that are like sitting there top of mind for you, or would it be more thinking? So I got two other ideas that I think could be okay.
I think I pretty much covered.
Okay, the one that I thought you'd say is Mr. Pizza himself, Kata Hat. Just because of, again, I hate him, though. His high profile, he's been so polarizing with like the ups and downs. Like, is Philly any good? They're on the rebuild. Dude, they've got a new jersey. I don't know if you knew that's like one tick over in shade of orange. It's pretty incredible. Kudos, like their design department should get a raise. I just
can't stand him.
So this might be skirting the rules a little bit, but I gotta give this one for our boy Z. If they don't trade either goalie, I want both of them. I want them to follow both and just how like big of butt buddies they are and like that inner working in the relationship there. Because I feel like it would kind of ruin it to follow just one of them because then it's like, yeah, the other one doesn't matter. Like I kind of want it to be both.
Wait, we forgot to mention Robin Leonard. That one has to be on there, right?
He's not going to play, but sure. If you were playing, absolutely, but he's not, so no.
And again, for our entertainment pleasure, because oh my goodness, I want to see. Well, didn't he have to give back all the snakes and all the crazy exotic animals or things that he had? Because he was like,
I don't even fucking know.
$200,000 in debt with exotic animals and snakes. Like, please, HBO, I want to see what's going on there. And I mean, last but not least, and this is really milking it here, folks, but I have to mention it. Hoppy's going to roll his eyes. If you want some amazing visuals, especially if you started with following this guy in the offseason, I mean, Aiden Hill, Vancouver Island, baby. You could get some 6 shots, some aerial shots in Victoria, some nice B-roll from the kids' home. I think that would be a good one, too.
I don't understand why it's going to be at his home. It's going to be during.
Well, I mean, they're probably the producers will definitely like when they do throwbacks of like, where you're from, where'd you play? Oh, you played the
dude. That's
the Victoria Racket Club. Oh my goodness, let's get a sick aerial shot. Oh look, there's the Prince and Meghan's house there. We want our privacy.
I mean, why don't we just make the series be called Victoria Island? And just anyone that's hailed from the great island of Victoria that doesn't even exist.
Done. You got my view.
I feel like we haven't really missed anyone. I mean, there's definitely others that you could make an argument for, but I don't feel bad about anyone that's been left off. Like Hellebuck, you can't really do until we know where he's going to land.
Yeah.
That makes it tough. Gibson, kind of the same thing. Like we don't really know where he's going to be. They could both be interesting guys, but like they also,
You know what's
I don't
funny?
know how much personality.
You picked, this is a perfect and fun exercise and segment. We're just in the most boring era of goalies. You know what I mean? Like goalies historically have been like, you know, the craziest personalities of the National Hockey League. And I feel like it's pretty thin right now. Whereas even 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have like, we'd probably have top 5 versus the top 3.
Oh, we're not even going to go down this path right now, but imagine if instead of goalies, they just did one called backups. And you follow the backup goalie. That could be real interesting, but we are not going down that list.
I feel like Vice did something like that.